The night was dark and the battlefield was silent, except for the wind moving through broken metal and stone. The war had ended hours ago, but the smell of smoke and burning was still heavy in the air. A human soldier walked carefully through the ruins, his boots pressing against the ash. He was tired, his uniform torn, and his rifle heavy on his shoulder. His mission was to search for survivors. Maybe find an injured comrade, maybe find something useful. The soldier moved through broken walls and shattered vehicles. Every corner looked dangerous, but what caught his attention was not an enemy soldier. It was a sound soft and weak, a cry. Almost like a baby's, the soldier froze, his hand tightening on his weapon. Was it a trick? Was it a trap left by the enemy? He listened again. The sound came from inside a collapsed building. Slowly he stepped closer, pushing aside a piece of metal. Beneath the rubble was something he had never expected. It was small, about the size of a large dog. Its scales were dull, its wings broken, its eyes were wide but weak. It was a baby dragon, starving and trembling. The soldier's heart pounded. Dragons were the enemy's weapons, everyone knew that. They burned towns, destroyed armies, and killed without mercy. But this one looked different. It was not a monster, it was just a child. So thin it looked like bones under its skin. Its little claws scratched the ground as it tried to move, its mouth opened but no fire came. Only a sad whimper. The soldier raised his gun. His training told him to finish it. A dragon, even a baby, could not be trusted. But his finger did not pull the trigger. Instead, he saw something else. The dragon's eyes were not angry. They were begging. They were crying for help. For a moment, the soldier forgot about war. He saw not an enemy, but a lost and hungry child. He sighed, lowering his weapon. His stomach was empty too. He had not eaten properly in days, but he still had something left in his pocket. He reached inside and pulled out a piece of ration chocolate. It was small, wrapped in silver, one of the few sweet things soldiers carried to remind them of home. The soldier looked at the chocolate, then at the baby dragon. This was madness. If anyone saw him, he could be court-martialed. Yet the sound of that weak cry made his heart heavy. He slowly knelt down, his hand shaking, and unwrapped the chocolate. The dragon watched with wide eyes, its nose twitching as it smelled the sweet scent. He broke off a piece and held it out carefully. The dragon hesitated, its little body trembling. Then, with surprising gentleness, it stretched its neck forward and sniffed. In a quick movement, it took the chocolate into its mouth. For a second, nothing happened. The soldier held his breath. Then suddenly, the dragon's eyes grew wide. Its pupils glowed like golden fire. It chewed clumsily, but once the taste hit, it gave a sound that was not a cry anymore. It was a sound of joy. The soldier blinked. Surprised, he almost laughed. Here was a creature of legend, feared across worlds. Looking like the happiest child after eating a small piece of candy, the dragon licked its lips and stared at him again, eyes full of hope. The soldier shook his head, whispering to himself, "What the hell am I doing?" He gave it another piece, and the dragon took it faster this time. Its tail moved weakly, trying to wag like a puppy. The soldier felt a strange warmth in his chest. It was the first time in months he had smiled. For a few minutes he was not a soldier. He was just a man feeding a hungry child. But as the last piece of chocolate disappeared, he knew this was dangerous. This dragon would follow him now. He could see it in the way it crawled closer, pressing its head against his leg like it trusted him. The soldier looked up at the ruined sky, the smoke hiding the stars, and he felt something he could not explain. This was wrong, but it also felt right. He had broken the rules. He had given kindness to the enemy. But as the dragon closed its eyes, resting against him like it had finally found safety, the soldier whispered, "Just this once." He did not know that this single act, this single piece of chocolate, would change his life. It would change the war. It would change everything. And as the baby dragon slept against his side, a faint glow appeared in its scales. The soldier stared in shock, realizing this was no ordinary creature. This was the beginning of something far greater than he could imagine. That one piece of chocolate was only the start. The next morning came with a pale sun struggling to shine through smoke and clouds. The battlefield was still broken, silent and heavy with the memory of war. The soldier woke up slowly, his back aching from sleeping against cold stone. He rubbed his eyes, trying to remember where he was. And then he felt something warm against his leg. He looked down and saw it. The baby dragon curled up like a cat, breathing softly. Its tiny chest rose and fell with weak rhythm. But its face looked peaceful for a moment. The soldier thought he had dreamed it all, but when the dragon opened its eyes and blinked at him, he knew it was real. The soldier whispered under his breath, "You're still here." He shook his head. He had expected the creature to leave in the night, to fly away or vanish into the ruins, but it had stayed with him, and when it lifted its head, there was no mistaking what it wanted. Its nose twitched and its tongue flicked out. It was searching for more chocolate. The soldier sighed, his hand going to his pocket. He had only crumbs left. He unwrapped the empty foil and showed it to the dragon. "Nothing left, buddy," he said softly. The dragon tilted its head, confused. Then it made a small sound. Half a growl and half a whine. It pressed closer to him. Nudging his bag with its snout, it had tasted sweetness. And now it wanted more. The soldier frowned. He knew this was dangerous. The creature was becoming attached, addicted even, and yet something inside him warmed at the sight. The way it followed him with hopeful eyes reminded him of a stray dog back home, hungry and lost, waiting for kindness. He stood up, slinging his rifle. The dragon scrambled to its feet clumsily. Its wings dragged on the ground. Too weak to lift, but it followed, step after step. Every time the soldier stopped, it stopped. Every time he walked. It walked. At first, he tried to ignore it. He was a soldier, not a caretaker. He had to finish his mission. His orders were to scout the ruins, report back, survive. But no matter how much he tried to move faster, the dragon kept following, stumbling, tripping, and still refusing to leave. Finally, he turned around. "What do you want from me?" he whispered. The dragon blinked, opened its mouth, and gave a soft cry. Then it rubbed its head against his boot. The soldier sighed deeply, rubbing his forehead. "Great. Now I've got a shadow." As the day went on, he noticed something strange. The dragon was not just following. It was learning. When he ducked under broken beams, it ducked too. When he paused at a corner, it crouched low as if sensing danger. Its golden eyes watched his every move with sharp focus. The soldier could not believe it. Was it really this smart, or was it simply desperate? Either way, it kept surprising him. Hours later, he stopped near an abandoned camp. He needed food, water, and maybe ammunition. He searched the bags left behind. Inside one, he found a bar of chocolate. His stomach twisted. He wanted it badly. He had not eaten sugar in weeks. His hands shook as he unwrapped it. But before he could take a bite, he felt a pair of eyes on him. The dragon was staring, its pupils wide, its little tail moving like it remembered the taste. It gave a tiny sound, almost pleading. The soldier froze. The bar in his hand felt heavier than his rifle. He could eat it himself, he should eat it himself, but those eyes made his heart weak. Slowly he broke off a piece and held it out. The dragon snapped it up, its face lighting with pure joy. It wagged its tail again, pressing against his leg. The soldier closed his eyes and laughed quietly, a sound he had forgotten how to make. "You little thief of my rations," he whispered. From that moment, the dragon refused to leave his side. Whenever he walked, it trotted beside him. Whenever he stopped, it curled near him. It was more than hunger now. It was trust, but with trust came risk. The soldier knew others would not understand. If his unit found out, they would kill it without hesitation. To them, it was a weapon of the enemy, not a child, and yet when he looked at it, all he saw was a creature that needed him. That night, he sat by a fire he had built from scraps of wood. The dragon sat opposite him, staring at the flames. Its scales reflected the light in faint colors. For the first time, the battlefield did not feel like hell. It felt almost like company. The soldier found himself speaking, telling stories of home, of rivers and fields, of his mother's cooking. He laughed at how insane it was to talk to a dragon, but the creature listened. Its head tilted as if it understood. When the fire burned low, the dragon crawled across the dirt and rested its head on his lap. The soldier froze, unsure of what to do, then slowly, he placed a hand on its head. Its scales were rough but warm. He stared at the ruined sky above, the stars hidden behind smoke. His life had been nothing but war and orders. But now, sitting here with a dragon at his side, he felt something new, a strange hope, a fragile peace. And though he knew this bond was dangerous, that it could cost him everything, deep inside he already understood one truth: he would never let this creature go. Because in a broken world filled with fire and death, a soldier had found a reason to smile again, and a baby dragon had found its first friend. The days passed slowly and the ruins grew colder. The soldier had begun to accept the little dragon as part of his strange journey. It followed him everywhere. like a shadow that would never leave at first. He thought it was just hunger that tied the creature to him. But now he began to see something else. The dragon was changing. It was no longer weak and trembling. Its eyes shone brighter each day. Its steps became firmer, its tail swayed with life, yet there was also something dangerous every time it looked at him. It did not want food, it wanted chocolate. The soldier noticed it first when he sat to eat his rations. He had found bread, dried meat, and even canned beans from abandoned supply boxes. But whenever he offered a piece to the dragon, it refused, it sniffed, pushed the food away and gave a soft growl. Its eyes then shifted to his pocket, the pocket where he usually kept the sweet foil. The soldier frowned. "No," he whispered. "You can't just live on chocolate." But the dragon tilted its head, confused, and gave a little cry. It licked its lips and stared, waiting. He shook his head, but his chest tightened. The creature was too much like a child begging, and he had no strength to say no for long. One evening he caught the dragon sneaking. He had left his bag on the ground while searching through ruins. When he returned, the bag was open and the foil wrappers were scattered everywhere. The dragon had eaten his last piece. Its mouth was smeared with melted chocolate. Its eyes wide as if caught in the act. The soldier froze. And then he laughed, shaking his head. "You greedy little beast," he whispered. The dragon lowered its head as if guilty, but its tail twitched like it had enjoyed every second. The soldier sighed and sat down. "You're going to be the end of me." But soon, it was no longer just funny. The problem grew. The dragon began to sneak into other camps. Abandoned tents and supply crates, it sniffed, scratched, and searched for chocolate when it returned. Sometimes its mouth carried shiny wrappers stolen from who knows where. The soldier realized with alarm that the dragon was not just addicted. It was clever. It had learned to find what it wanted. It had learned that soldiers carried chocolate, and if anyone else discovered this, there would be questions one afternoon. As the soldier scouted near the edge of the battlefield, he heard shouting. He hid behind a wall, pulling the dragon close. Ahead, a group of human soldiers were arguing. One man shouted, "Supplies are missing again." Another answered, "Someone's been stealing the rations." "And the chocolate's gone too." The soldier's heart sank. He looked at the dragon, who avoided his gaze. Its mouth was sticky with crumbs. He whispered sharply, "This is your fault." The dragon made a soft sound like it was trying to apologize, but it still licked its lips. Now things were dangerous. If the other soldiers noticed the truth, if they saw the wrappers or the dragon sneaking into supplies, everything would end. They would kill it without mercy. He would be punished for hiding it. The soldier pulled the dragon aside that night. Sitting near a broken wall, the moon was pale above them. He stared at the creature. "Listen, I can't keep giving you chocolate forever," he whispered. "You'll get me killed, you'll get yourself killed." The dragon tilted its head, its golden eyes glowing softly. It didn't understand the words, but it understood the tone. It pressed against his chest, curling like a child seeking forgiveness. The soldier closed his eyes, his hand resting on its head. "Damn it. Why do I care about you so much?" But the danger grew closer. Rumors spread through the camps. Some soldiers swore they had seen a creature sneaking at night. Others claimed they saw golden eyes watching from the ruins, and worst of all, whispers began that the enemy might have released spies or beasts to steal supplies. The soldier knew time was running out. He had to be careful, but the dragon made it harder each day. Its hunger for sweetness drove it into reckless actions, and yet he could not abandon it. He could not kill it. The bond had become more than food. The soldier noticed that the dragon stayed close when danger was near. Its ears twitched before gunfire, its nose lifted before smoke came. Sometimes it growled softly in the dark, warning him of something he could not see. One night, as they rested in silence, he found himself whispering, "You're not just trouble." "Are you?" The dragon looked up at him, its eyes glowing faintly. Then it rested its head on his arm. The soldier sighed. "You're family now, aren't you?" But as the fire burned low, the soldier realized one painful truth. Chocolate had made the dragon trust him. Chocolate had made it follow him. But chocolate had also made it dangerous. If others discovered its addiction, they would not see friendship. They would see a weakness to exploit or a reason to kill. The soldier looked at the sleeping creature. "Small, innocent, and yet powerful," he whispered. "I've created something that cannot be stopped." His heart felt heavy. Torn between fear and love, and in the shadows of the ruins, unseen eyes were already watching. The soldier had begun to feel uneasy. Every night the ruins grew quieter, but in that silence he sensed movement. He was not the only one watching the battlefield anymore. Somewhere out there, shadows moved with purpose, and whispers carried across the broken stones. It began with rumors. Soldiers in the distance spoke about a beast stealing from supply crates. Some claimed it was a wild dog, others said it was a deserter, but one voice whispered the truth that chilled his blood. It was a dragon. A baby dragon. The soldier's hand clenched on his rifle. He glanced at the small creature curled beside him. Its golden eyes blinked innocently. Unaware of the danger closing in, he whispered, "They're talking about you." The dragon tilted its head and gave a soft cry, pressing closer as if it could feel his worry that night. The soldier decided to move. He could not risk being found. He packed his few belongings, tied his boots tight, and carried his rifle across his back. The dragon followed, its steps light and careful. They walked through the ruins under a broken moon, shadows stretching like claws. For hours they moved, but the soldier felt it, eyes watching, footsteps too careful to be natural. He stopped, his heart pounding. The dragon lowered its body, a soft growl rumbling in its chest. "So you hear it too," he whispered. Suddenly a light flashed in the distance. Voices echoed, enemy patrol armed and searching. Their torches cut through the dark like knives. The soldier ducked behind a crumbling wall, pulling the dragon close. He held his breath as boots crunched on gravel. "They say it's nearby," one enemy soldier muttered. "Command wants it alive." "A dragon bonded to a human could be dangerous," another voice growled. "Or valuable." The soldier's stomach twisted. They were hunting not to kill but to capture. They wanted the baby dragon, and if they succeeded, it would be used as a weapon. The patrol passed slowly. Their light sweeping over ruins, the soldier stayed frozen. The dragon trembling under his hand, he whispered, "Quiet. Don't move." The dragon pressed itself low, eyes wide. But when the torchlight came too close, the soldier thought his heart would stop. Then a sudden noise broke the silence. A rat scurried across rubble, knocking over a tin can. The patrol spun, rifles raised. "Over there," they shouted. The soldier knew it was over. He grabbed the dragon and ran. Bullets cracked through the night. Sparks flying from walls. The soldier sprinted. His boots slamming stone, the dragon clung close. Its claws scraped as it tried to keep up. The soldier turned corners, dodging debris. The sound of shouts grew behind him. At one turn he stumbled and fell, his rifle skidding across the ground. The dragon cried out, rushing to him. The patrol was close now, footsteps thundering. The soldier cursed, reaching for his weapon, but then something unexpected happened. The dragon leapt in front of him, its small chest rising, its golden eyes burning with sudden fire. It opened its mouth and let out a weak but sharp blast. Not a full flame, just a flicker of heat and light. But it was enough. The blast hit a barrel nearby. Sparks flying into dry wood, flames erupted, blocking the path of the patrol. Soldiers shouted, coughing as smoke filled the air. The soldier stared in shock. He had not known the creature could do that, but the effort was too much. The baby dragon staggered, its body trembling. It collapsed to the ground, smoke curling from its tiny mouth. The soldier's heart clenched. He scooped it up, whispering, "You crazy little beast. You saved me," with the flames buying them time. He carried the dragon through broken alleys, not stopping until the shouts were far behind. Finally, he dropped to his knees in an abandoned house. Breathing hard, the dragon lay weak in his arms. Eyes half closed, the soldier felt guilt flood him. "You're too young for this," he whispered. "You should be safe." "Not fighting for me." He tore a piece of cloth from his sleeve. Wiping soot from its scales, the dragon whimpered, then nuzzled against his chest. Trusting him even in weakness for a long moment, the soldier just sat there listening to his own heartbeat. He realized something important. This was no longer about chocolate, no longer about kindness. This was about survival. And they were bound together now outside. The night was alive with enemy voices. The hunt had only begun. The soldier knew they would not stop until they caught what they sought. And yet, as he looked down at the fragile creature in his arms, he swore quietly, "They'll never have you." The dragon stirred. Weak but alive, its eyes met his, glowing faintly like embers in that silent gaze. The soldier understood. He was no longer alone. He had an ally, a bond, a dangerous secret that could change the course of war. And far away in the enemy camp, commanders whispered with greed, planning how to trap the creature. The battlefield was no longer just about humans and soldiers. It had become about something greater, a human and a dragon, hunted by both sides, running out of time, and the war was about to change forever. The soldier had managed to escape the patrol, but his mind was not at peace. He had seen how desperate the enemy was to catch the dragon, and that frightened him more than the bullets. Why would they risk so much for a starving baby creature? He needed answers in the ruins of an old command post. He searched through broken boxes and scattered papers. The dragon followed, still weak from using its tiny flame. But refusing to leave his side, the soldier lit a lantern, brushing dust off maps and reports, hoping to find something useful. Most of it was useless: lists of weapons, orders for supply runs. Nothing explained why the enemy wanted a baby dragon so badly. But then, under a pile of charred folders, he found something strange, a book, old and heavy, its cover scarred by fire but still intact. He opened it carefully. The pages were brittle, but the words inside were sharp. His eyes scanned the writing, and the more he read, the colder he felt. The book was about dragons, not as beasts, but as something far more powerful. It said that dragons were never meant to bond with humans. They were creatures of fire and sky, tied only to their own kind. A human and a dragon could not share trust, not unless something unnatural had happened, something that changed fate itself. The soldier looked at the dragon sitting near the lantern, its golden eyes glowing softly, watching him with complete trust. His hands trembled. He whispered, "This isn't supposed to happen. You and me." The dragon tilted its head. Letting out a curious sound, he turned another page. There was a drawing of a human soldier centuries ago, standing beside a dragon, not as enemies but as partners. The text called it the Forbidden Bond, a rare link that had happened only once in history, a link that could change wars because a bonded dragon would not just obey, it would fight with heart. The soldier leaned back, stunned. He realized now why the enemy wanted it, why they hunted so desperately. If a human soldier and a dragon formed this bond, it could mean the end of balance. One side would have power beyond imagination. He whispered to himself, "That's why they're afraid. That's why they want you." He closed the book and pressed his hands to his face. He should feel fear. He should want to end this before it grew. But when he looked at the little dragon again, his chest ached with something else. The creature blinked at him, and slowly it crawled closer. It rested its head on his lap, its scales warm against his skin. He felt its small heartbeat, steady and real. He whispered, "You don't know what you are, do you?" The dragon closed its eyes, as if trusting him completely, for a long moment. The soldier simply sat there, the book open beside him, the weight of its words sinking into his mind. He knew the truth. He had broken every rule of war, every law of nature, and yet he could not turn back. Later that night, he dreamed. In his dream, he stood on a mountain of fire. The sky burned red, and dragons circled above. A voice thundered, "The bond will bring ruin, or salvation." He woke up sweating. Clutching his chest, the dragon was still beside him. Watching with silent eyes. In the days that followed, he noticed more changes. The dragon was growing faster than before. Its wings no longer dragged on the ground. Its movements were sharper. It learned quickly, mimicking his actions. When he raised his weapon, it crouched as if ready to fight. When he lay still in ambush, it stilled with him. But with growth came danger. The glow in its scales became brighter at night, and anyone watching the ruins from afar could see it. The soldier tried to cover it with cloth, but the light always found a way to shine through. One evening, as the soldier read more from the old book, the dragon nudged it with its nose, flipping a page. There was a warning written there, bold and final. "A dragon who tastes human sweetness shall never forget. It binds the heart faster than fire." The soldier froze. His mind flashed back to that first moment, the piece of chocolate, the hungry eyes, the joy on the dragon's face. He whispered, "So that's it. That's why you're with me." He felt both wonder and guilt. He had given kindness, but he had also started something unstoppable. The dragon made a soft sound, nudging him again as if sensing his doubts. He stroked its head, whispering, "Addicted to chocolate, addicted to me." "Huh." The creature licked his hand, and for a moment his fear melted, replaced by a strange warmth. But the soldier could not ignore the truth. This bond was rare, dangerous, and powerful, and it meant one thing: sooner or later, the world would come for them. He closed the book, hid it in his pack, and stood. "We can't stay here," he whispered. "They'll find us." The dragon rose too, its eyes sharp, its body stronger, no longer just a starving child, but something on the edge of becoming more. As they walked through the ruins, the soldier glanced at it and whispered to himself, "I should be afraid of you." But deep inside, he felt something stronger than fear. It was loyalty, it was hope. The dragon had become more than just a creature he fed. It was his partner, his secret, his family. And though the book had warned that such a bond could bring ruin, the soldier could not let go. He knew no matter what came, he would protect it. Even if it meant standing against the whole world, the days of hiding were over. The soldier knew it from the moment he saw the sky filled with flares. Bright red lights cut through the night. Enemy signals, they were closing in. He crouched behind a broken wall, rifle in hand, the baby dragon beside him. Its eyes glowed faintly, its scales reflecting fire from distant explosions. It was no longer the weak, starving creature he had first found. It was stronger, sharper, but still too young for the world that wanted to crush it. The soldier whispered, "They've found us." The dragon tilted its head, giving a low growl. It could sense the danger too. Boots thundered in the distance, weapons clattered. The sound of war was returning, louder, closer, unstoppable. The soldier's heart raced. He had been through many battles, but this one was different. This time he wasn't just fighting for his life. He was fighting for the creature that had become his only family. The first shots came suddenly. Bullets cracked against stone, sparks flying. The soldier grabbed the dragon and rolled behind cover. Dust filled the air. "Stay down," he hissed. But the dragon's growl grew deeper. It was not afraid anymore. Enemy soldiers advanced through the ruins, their torches sweeping the shadows. "Find it," one shouted. "The beast and the traitor are here." The soldier gritted his teeth. He knew they meant him. He raised his rifle and fired. The first enemy dropped, chaos exploded. The dragon leapt beside him, its tail lashing. Its eyes blazed golden in the dark. The enemy shouted in panic, "It's real! The dragon is with him!" More bullets rained down. The soldier fired back, but they were outnumbered. A grenade landed near them, rolling across the dirt. The soldier's eyes widened. He dove, shielding the dragon with his body. The blast ripped through stone. His ears rang, his back burned with pain. For a moment the world spun. When the smoke cleared, the dragon stood over him, its chest heaved. Its tiny wings stretched wide. It opened its mouth and released a roar. Not just a sound, but a force. The air shook. Dust blew across the ground. The enemy froze in terror. The soldier blinked in shock. He had never heard a sound like it. It wasn't fire, not yet, but it was power. Raw and terrifying for a moment. The enemy faltered, and that moment was enough. The soldier pulled himself up and fired, cutting down another attacker, but the battle was far from over. More soldiers poured into the ruins, surrounding them. Torches and gunfire lit up the night. The soldier's hands shook. His ammo was running low. Sweat stung his eyes. He glanced at the dragon, whispering, "We're not going to make it." "Are we?" The dragon stared back, its gaze fierce. And then it did something that broke his heart. It stepped forward, placing itself between him and the enemy. Its wings spread wide, its tiny claws dug into the ground. It was ready to fight, even if it cost everything. The soldier's chest ached. "No, you're too small. You'll die." But the dragon ignored him, its body glowed faintly, light seeping from its scales like fire trapped under glass. The enemy raised their rifles, aiming, shouting. Then the world erupted. The dragon unleashed a burst not of fire but of blinding light. It surged across the ruins, dazzling the soldiers. Their shouts turned to screams as they stumbled. Covering their eyes, the soldiers stared in awe. The glow wrapping around him too, but it did not burn. It felt like warmth, like protection. He took the chance, pulling the dragon back and firing into the confusion. Enemies fell, some fled, others kept shooting wildly. But their aim was broken. The battlefield had turned into chaos. The dragon's glow faded suddenly, its little body collapsing from exhaustion. The soldier caught it in his arms. His heart pounded with fear. "Stay with me. Don't you dare leave me now." He ran through the smoke. Weaving between ruins, bullets chasing him, he would not stop. Not until the dragon was safe. At last he stumbled into the shell of an old building. Collapsing behind a wall, his breath came in ragged gasps. He looked down at the dragon in his arms. Its body was limp, its chest rising weakly. He pressed his forehead against its scales, whispering, "You saved me again." "You foolish thing." Outside, the battlefield burned. The enemy regrouped, shouting orders. The war was far from finished, but inside that ruined shelter, in the middle of fire and death, the soldier made a promise. "No one will take you," he whispered, his voice shaking but firm. "Not the enemy. Not even my own people, you're mine, and I'll protect you till the end." The dragon stirred faintly. Opening its eyes, it looked at him with trust, pure and unshakable, and in that moment, the soldier realized something. This was no longer about war. It was about survival, about family, about a bond that no law, no army, no history could ever break. He held the dragon closer, listening to the distant shouts. His body was bruised, his ammo almost gone, but his spirit burned brighter than ever. Together they had faced death and survived. And the enemy had seen the truth. A dragon had chosen a human, and nothing could ever erase that. The war would never be the same again. The ruins were quiet again, too quiet. Smoke drifted through the air, glowing faintly from dying fires. The soldier sat against a broken wall, his arms wrapped around the baby dragon. His body ached, his uniform was torn, his ammo nearly gone, but he was alive. And so was the creature in his arms. The dragon stirred weakly. Opening its golden eyes, it gave a soft cry, more like a whisper than a roar. The soldier smiled faintly, relief flooding through him. "You're still with me," he murmured. He stroked its head, his rough hand brushing against warm scales. The dragon pressed closer as if it could feel his promise. He pulled a small piece of chocolate from his pack, the last one he had. His hands trembled as he unwrapped it. He broke it in half and held a piece to the dragon's mouth. The creature sniffed, then snapped it up, chewing slowly. Its eyes brightened, the glow returning just a little. The soldier laughed quietly, though his voice cracked with exhaustion. "Still addicted, huh?" The moment felt almost peaceful, almost normal, but the soldier knew the truth. Outside these ruins, the enemy was regrouping. He could hear their distant voices, their commands. They would not stop, not after what they had seen. A human soldier fighting side by side with a dragon. He whispered to himself, "We've shown them too much." He looked at the dragon, who licked his hand. "They won't ever let us go now." The dragon curled against him, small but unshakable. Its trust was absolute. The soldier felt his chest tighten. In this broken world, he had found something pure, something worth protecting, and he knew he could never go back. Not to his commanders, not to his unit, not to the man he had been before. Suddenly a sound broke the silence. The crunch of boots. The soldier raised his rifle. Aiming at the shadows from the smoke, 3 human soldiers appeared. Not enemy, not strangers, but his own. Their uniforms matched his, their faces worn and scarred like his. His stomach dropped. One of them raised a hand. "We've been ordered to bring you in," he said coldly. His eyes flicked to the dragon. "And to take that thing alive." The soldier's grip tightened on his weapon. His heart pounded. "No," he whispered. His voice shook, but his hands were steady. The dragon growled softly. Pressing closer to his leg, the soldier stepped forward. "Rifles ready. Don't make this harder." "It's not your choice anymore," one said. The soldier felt rage rise inside him. He shouted, "It is my choice. You don't understand. This creature is not our enemy," but they didn't listen. Their eyes held fear, fear of the dragon, fear of the unknown. To them it was a weapon, a risk, nothing more. The soldier took a step back, pressing his body in front of the dragon. His finger hovered over the trigger. His mind screamed at him. These were his brothers in arms, men he had fought beside, but behind him was the dragon, the only being who had given him hope. "Stand aside," one soldier barked. The air grew heavy, every heartbeat louder than gunfire. The baby dragon whimpered, sensing the danger, and then it happened. The dragon stepped forward, placing itself at the soldier's side. Its eyes glowed fiercely, its small chest rose, and it let out a low growl that shook the air. The human soldiers froze, fear flashing across their faces. The soldier's voice rang out, stronger than he thought possible. "If you want it, you'll have to go through me." For a long moment, no one moved. The battlefield was silent. The 3 soldiers stared, torn between duty and fear. Finally, one cursed and lowered his weapon. "He's gone mad." "He's bonded to it," another spat. "We'll report back. Command will decide." They retreated into the smoke, their footsteps fading. The soldier collapsed to his knees, Shaking, he knew what this meant. He had just made himself an enemy of his own people. He looked at the dragon, who gazed back with calm trust. He whispered, "We're outlaws now. Both of us." The dragon tilted its head, then crawled into his lap. Its warmth against his chest was the only comfort he had. The soldier stared at the ruined horizon, fire still glowing in the distance. His voice was quiet but firm. "They'll come for us. Humans, enemies, maybe even dragons, but let them come." He placed a hand on the creature's head. "We'll face them together." The dragon closed its eyes, purring softly like it understood. As the night stretched on, the soldier felt a strange mix of dread and hope. He knew this was only the beginning. The bond he had formed was something rare, something feared, something that would change everything. And in the silence of the ruins, he spoke words that would echo into legend. A starving baby dragon saved by chocolate, and a soldier who broke the rules. This is not the end of our story. It's only the beginning. The wind howled across the battlefield, carrying away the ashes of war. In the shadows, eyes still watched. Enemies plotting, allies doubting, destiny waiting. The soldier held the dragon close, and together they vanished into the smoke, hunted by all but unbroken, because when the world tried to tear them apart, they had already chosen each other. And what comes next no one could predict.